Hi guys, welcome back to Irony Completed. Today's video is my June book club. So I do this kind of video every month where I talk about the books that I read in June and do a wrap up, and then I also do my TBR for the next month, this being July. I actually only managed to read 2 books in June, and to be honest that is because, as you may well know, I have been having a hell of a lot going on in my personal life. I talked about this in slightly more detail in my deep chit chat, get ready with me, fairy, princess, alien, whatever. What did I call that video? It's like a deep chit chat, get ready with me, I think I called it. I talked about it in way more detail in that video, but as a brief excuse for my appalling lack of reading this month, my grandfather is in the hospital with a, well, not even a suspected brain tumour. He has a brain tumour now. We know it's a brain tumour. We just don't know what's causing the brain tumour. He has a brain tumour and a tumour in his lung. So I've kind of been preoccupied mentally and also literally, as in we have been going to the hospital pretty much, if not every day, then every other day. However, I did read 2 things this month. The first thing being Neil Gaiman's Stardust. I have had this book for absolutely ages, as I think I said in last month's book club video when I talked about it in my TBR. I've owned it for ages and I started reading it in May, but then I just didn't get around to finishing it because of exams and like being busy at the end of term. But I did finish it this month. It's quite a short book and it took me a very long time to finish, so I'm kind of ashamed of myself. But I really enjoyed this. This is kind of a similar plot to the movie of the same name, which is an adaptation of this book. A guy called Tristan Thorne, he is in love with this girl called Victoria, and he sees a falling star and pledges to go and collect the falling star, even though it fell into this magical land, the other side of a wall in his village, which is full of fairies and witches and magic and not human things. And he gets there and finds out that she's not a lump of rock, she is an actual girl, she's a human being. And he adventures through the forest to take her back to his true love, but on the way, him and the star fall in love. And it's a really, really great romantic story. I love Neil Gaiman. He's probably one of my favourite authors, just to like get that out of the way straight away. His books are fantastic. I think he like blends genres so beautifully and his writing style is amazing. This, however, is not one of my favourite books by him. I much prefer The Ocean at the End of the Lane to this, because that was like darker. And I think he does things better when they're darker. Not that this wasn't dark. I would say that this is darker even than the movie, and that had a lot of like black comedy and like dark comedy in it. This is even darker than that, but I still prefer his work when it is like fully twisted and strange. And Ocean at the End of the Lane, never wear American Gods-y. But yeah, as much as I did enjoy this, it's not my favourite Neil Gaiman book. But I would reread it and I would recommend others to read it, because I think that the story and the like fantasy world building and the characters and things like that are really, really great and really fleshed out, and he does fantasy world building like no other author, apart from maybe like Terry Pratchett and J.R.R. Tolkien and J.K. Rowling. They're like the top world builders. But yeah, I did enjoy this, definitely would recommend. And the only other book that I read this month is a comic book, so some people would consider that a bit of a cheat. I, however, would not. This is Marbles, Mania, Depression, Michelangelo and Me. And I actually tweeted Ellen Forney like the minute I finished reading this book, and she retweeted me and I felt really, really great. This is written by Ellen Forney and it's their graphic memoir, so it's kind of autobiographical. It's about her struggle with being diagnosed as bipolar when she was, I don't know how old she was when she was diagnosed, but I think it was like 98 or something. And it's about her struggles with needing to control, obviously, mood swings and the symptoms of bipolar disorder, the mania that she feels and the depression that she feels for months and months and months, and her struggles with this idea of the crazy artist club, and does this legitimize her art? Will medication stop her from being able to be creative? And it's this like internal conflict, and honestly this spoke to me on a very, very personal level. I'm about to get real with you guys, and I'm also about to get my tea. This is apple mint cream tea. It's really good. By the English tea shop, in case you didn't know. I can't remember whether or not I actually talked about this in my depression chit chat video that I did a couple months ago now, but something that I have really struggled with in recovery is mental block. I feel like I cannot be creative when I'm not depressed. When I was depressed, I wrote poetry almost every day. I wrote in my journal more when I was depressed. I created art constantly, and the more I went into recovery, the less I felt like creating art, the less I felt like drawing, the less I felt like writing. I went through periods where I wouldn't write in my journal for months, and then I would force myself to write. I've been getting better with the whole writing in my journal regularly thing, mainly because there's a lot going on right now, but also because I have just gotten back into the habit of it in a lot of ways. But I'm still struggling with the creating art thing. Like, I really can't write poetry anymore. I try and I'm really like disappointed in myself. I have the same problem with creating art and drawing and doing comic books, which is what I really love to do, is comic books and cartoons. I really can't do it when I feel positive and when I'm not in a depression. What I tweeted at Unforny and how I feel about this book and what it meant to me personally is that just because I'm in a positive place with my mental health doesn't mean I have to suffer a creative block. You don't have to be part of the Crazy Artist Club to be creating. And really, the Crazy Artist Club is just a romanticization of mental illness and creativity, and a conflation that doesn't necessarily mean that just because you're not depressed or bipolar, you can't create things and be a creative and imaginative person. The book really spoke to me on a very, very personal level, and I was really moved by it actually. And it really did make me feel a lot better about some of the struggles that I've been having with art and mood disorders and things lately. So I would 100% recommend it, especially if you are someone who has gone through bipolar disorder or any other kind of mood disorder or mental illness generally, because I think that it was a really kind of realistic portrayal of what it's like to struggle to accept the fact that a mental illness is part of your life. So yeah, that was really serious and that was like really personal. And my voice sounds like I'm going to cry, but I promise I'm not. So those are the books that I read in June, and now I'm going to tell you guys my July TBR list. And if you do not know what TBR stands for, it stands for to be read. So these are the books that I'm planning on reading in July, and I've got 2 books on this list. But I am going to Finland for 2 weeks in July to see my dad and my sisters and my family on that side. So I probably will read more books, because I'm like going on holiday and I tend to read more when I'm on holiday, but I don't know what books I'm going to pack yet, so these are more the books that I'm planning on reading in the meantime / maybe over that, not 100% sure yet. The first one is something, I just burped, it was so disgusting. The first one is something that was on my TBR list last month as well, and that is Milk, Sulfate and Albi Starvation. Albi, how are we pronouncing the main character's name here? This is by Martin Miller. My mum said that she read this when she was around my age. My dad actually bought my mum quite a few of these Martin Miller books in this series. I talked about it more in my last month's TBR list. I still kind of don't know what to expect, to be honest. But a couple of people in the comments of my last book club video said that I was going to really enjoy this and that they approved of my mum's recommendation. So I'm actually really looking forward to reading this, and I might start reading it tonight if I have the time. And the second book is something that I think has been in a TBR list in like an old book club, maybe even from last summer, is The Mortal Instruments, City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. My mum bought this from a charity shop for like less than £1, and I've had it for ages. She read it and said that it was like pretty okay. I've never seen the films or like anything, but I like young adult series, I like dystopian series, and this sounds pretty cool. Demons, shadow hunters, all that kind of jazz. I am interested in reading this. I feel like I need to get on this bandwagon because I am late to the bandwagon. So yeah, I'm hoping I will enjoy this. It seems like quite a thick book. I'm kind of intimidated. I've read thicker though, so I think I can get through it. I'm hoping the text is big. Is the text big? The text is huge. Okay, I'm fine. So that's all for my book club for June. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you want to, then please let me know down in the comments what books you read in June or what things you're planning on reading in July. If you have any recommendations for a book that I should buy to read on holiday, then please let me know, because I'm totally up for recommendations for new books to buy and things like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Tumblr or Instagram, they'll all be linked down in the description, along with everything that I'm wearing and what's on my face right now. I will see you all in my next video. Bye!